Welcome everybody back to the Belvista Studios Show. Today I have a special guest, Joanna, all the way in the UK, so it's late for her, early for me, but it looks like it's very early where you are. But you're actually, that's what I love about Europe, is that the days go way into the night, whereas here it's like 6 p.m. and it's dark and everything shuts down. So thank you for being here. I'm really inspired to learn from you. Especially, I think you're going to show us some things around variables in Articulate and push our thinking around what's possible and how they can be used. So I'm curious to learn from you. And just before I hand over to you, I'll just say that the Belvista Studios Show, the intent is that we get awesome people in the e-learning instructional design space on that are doing really cool things to inspire others in the industry to see what's possible, because it's really nice to be able to have generous people like Joanna on, share their process and tell us how they do things so that we can kind of lift our game. So welcome to the show, Joanna. Introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then it's over to you to share some wonderful e-learning examples.
Okay, cool. Let's start. Yeah, thanks so much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be on the show. So maybe before we start, just let me say a few words about myself. So I work for Wolf Learning Consulting as an e-learning developer, and we specialize in providing innovative learning solutions for animal health sector. So we develop content for small and large animals, ranging from mice to cats, dogs, horses, and cows.
Wow.
So and as these clients' projects are usually not open to public, I'd like to show you today a few e-learning examples which I created within Toolbox 2020 project.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our internal project at Wolf, and where I am given the time and complete freedom to build either advanced storyline interaction, maybe a game, to explore storylines functionality into like a deeper level, or basically anything what we haven't created so far, but it would be great to have within our portfolio, our showcase.
Yeah.
So let's jump to the first example. I'll share my screen. Okay.
Yeah, we got your screen. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's the first example I'd like to show you today. I call it The Risk is on Your Side. It's like a mix of, I turn the volume down. It's a mix of roll the dice game and your willingness to risk with answering questions. So you're free to select your avatar. So let's say Kim will be playing against Jake, which is a robot. So the game you're playing against the opponent.
Feeling nervous already.
But he's really a good guy.
Good to know. Okay.
Hasn't hurt.
Hopefully he goes easy on me.
Yeah. So basically, what I wanted, in my mind, in my initial idea, was to use some elements of cards and any risk. So it's like unexpected outcome you can have. So basically, you will be shown 5 cards which are turned back, and each card has a different number value as I'm showing here in the rules. And then, so if you pick 4, it means you will answer a question which could be worth 4 points. But if you take the risk and roll the dice, it will be multiplied. So you can actually get, from 4 to 24 points instead. But no matter what you choose, and you'll be incorrect, Jake gets your points. So we better be correct. So click start. Not sure whether you can see so in the corners we have Jake the robot and you, Kim, with starting points set at 0, and here are our 5 cards. with just a simple hover effect. So let's say we start with this one, and this is where the fun starts. So you can get 3 points, go with it as it is, or you can try to roll the dice and increase the points if you want. Let's say we want to risk. So yeah, the question now is worth 18 points. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go to question. Questions are quite tricky. It's not lorem ipsum. Okay. It's really challenging. Obviously, I know the answers. So I will answer for you, Kim, unless you're happy to, to have a guess which one is the correct one.
I'm going to say it's A, but I like the idea. I'm going to Google what this last one is. And hopefully it's not that. But anyway, let's go A.
A, all right, okay. Well, Jake was lucky this time. Yeah, it's the Finnish
concept. Should have let you play for me.
All right, okay, so it basically it's exactly the same process for each card, but yeah, let's make it till the end.
Okay.
And let's roll the dice every time because it's more interesting. Well, this time we weren't lucky. It was just 1, so it's exactly the same amount. Okay, I just select anything. Unless you want to play, Kim, sorry, I decided for you.
Oh, well, I've embarrassed myself now, so I'm happy to just click through. Okay. Just with those, the hovers on the cards, are they done through the states? So you've just moved the card? Yeah, cool, nice.
Yes. Yeah, I will show you later in Storyline how
cool.
how this is set up. So 30 points. So if we're lucky, yeah, we'll beat Jake. Back to the Future. Did you watch it?
Oh, a DeLorean. It's named after the car maker dude, isn't it? The first one.
Yeah. Cool.
Come on, Jake.
Okay. 4 points, still good. Yeah, it's Denmark and the European Union.
Oh, I think they were early. I'm gonna go 81 because I don't think they were like initially the first people. Oh, they were earlier than that. Okay.
But you're still winning. 1 point. Okay. Last chance. Okay, go Kim.
I got my cheer squad. Thanks, Joanna. Oh God. Jesus.
I don't remember which one was the correct one.
Can I ask a friend?
Yes.
Okay, Joanna. Do you know the answer, friend?
Yeah, I will check in the storyline as I don't remember.
No, let's go the third one. Oh no, I don't know.
Therapy. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Second one. Okay, so now as we answered all the questions, so all cards have been uncovered, we now jump to the result screen. Yeah, Kim, you won.
Yeah, celebration.
So it's like a one-go game, as the questions are always the same, and it's the same. The initial value on cards is the same. But if you would like to build this game to be, more advanced, you could use random variable to give different value to the cards. So it could be, different every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this occasion, I just build it as a one go. All right. So in Storyline, it looks like that, and it's really quite simple once you have it done for one card.
Yeah.
Basically,
at this point, we're just still looking at your browser.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually. And if people haven't picked up, I'll just point out, like, when you roll the dice, there is some magic happening, which I think you're going to tell us how to do, where it was multiplying the dice number by the card thing to give us that point system, which is really clever.
Exactly. Okay, can you see my storyline now?
Yeah, I got your storyline. So we're
All
looking
right,
at the
okay.
table. Cool.
All right. So yeah, this initial screen, welcome screen is super simple. So we just see some animation, see the avatar selection, type in the name. There are the game rules, and then we jump to the card selection. So we ask about states. So let's say for the first card, yeah, my normal state is like that, and on hover, it's just shifted a little bit, a few pixels up,
Yeah,
and it's
cool.
exactly the same for each card. So you have the feeling as the card is really being moved up.
Love that.
Yeah, and here are some, actually a long list of, but not that long, variables to make the game working nicely. The first one is we have a really important value called card value. I mean variable. So the card value will be different for each card. For example, this one will be worth 3 points, which we say here. This one will be 8, etc., etc. This one will be 2. And we need to be really this variable is really important, as we will refer to this value later when we roll the dice. So here we just set up the variable to the proper value. Change the card to hidden once it's selected, so we don't pick it anymore once we back to this starting screen. And we jump to the scene card 2. Okay.
Cool.
Let's jump here. And as you saw,
I was just going to say that did look like a long list of variables, but essentially it was just 3 variables duplicated for each card. So it's not that scary for people.
Yeah, exactly. There are more variables, for example, for changing the state of avatar, whether male or female was selected, and setting up the name and scores. But the rest, these ones, the super most important ones are just 3 per card. Cool. So it's short. Okay. So then we jump to the new scene prepared for each card. And here it's really super simple. So we start with the information, which card you picked, and you've been given a chance now to either go with it as it is. And now it's another variable, which is called question value. And if you don't risk, okay, the card value becomes, the question value becomes the card value. We pick 2 and we just go with 2 and we just jump to the question, you get 2 points. But if you decide to roll a dice, okay, we've been shown this layer, then we see it's a short animation with a dice. As you see, it's just bouncing back TBB. And there are some variables here. So there's a variable dice, which will tell storyline depending whether it will be pulled between 1 and 6, which layer to show. Okay, there are 6 layers. And let's say you roll 4. There is just a different dice shown. And now if we rolled 4, there is this question value. It's multiplied by variable dice. So now we'll have 8 points instead of 2, as we had on the easier solution.
That's cool. Can you go back to the throw one, throw layer, and show us that random? Can you open up the set dice one, please?
Yeah. So because a dice has you can have between 1 to 6 points. The random variable is set to show any number between 1 and 2. So this is what storyline does for us when the timeline starts. Okay. And when, as you see, this timeline is really short. It's just for the length of the dice rolling. And when the timeline finishes, whichever variable for dice storyline picks, it's gonna show proper layer. So if the dice value was 1, show layer 1, which means we see a dice with 1 point, 1 dot. Okay.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, this trigger is really important, as we need to, yeah, this isn't the best example as it's just one, but for example here, we need to multiply the question value by the variable dice. So we increase this value, which will be displayed in this text box.
Yeah. Can you
So,
open that one and show us? So there's multiply, I assume there's add, divide, subtract. Is there any other option?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one from a list. It's multiply, yeah, the question value.
Yeah.
Which equals card value. Okay, we
Yeah.
picked on the initial screen by variable dice. So depending,
cool.
yeah, the number between 1 to 6 when the timeline starts, and it will be displayed here.
Very cool.
Okay, and then we just jump to the question. In here, I'm using a lot, yeah, info in the shadow on feedback layers, which I will show you in a sec. There's just one important thing here. So we'll be asked 5 questions. So every time the timeline of a question starts, I set up a new variable called question answered. So every time a question appears, there will be +1 to question answered. I need to track how many questions are answered. If there are 5 questions answered, then on the feedback layers, when we click continue, we jump either, if the question answer is smaller than 5, we jump to our pick your card screen. And if it's 5, we see the summary screen. It means we answered all the questions. The variables equals 5, which means we jump to summary.
Brilliant. Yeah. And I guess that's another application of that for people is if you have like a hub or a menu where people can jump to topics of different kinds, and then you want to say, okay, you've visited all topics in this learning, and now you don't want to go back to that hub screen, you want to go to the conclusion screen.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point going back to this screen once you unless it's intentional.
Yes.
You want to give the learner a chance to go and to visit any topic once again, but it's not the case in this game, as you know, these cards disappear. So if you answered 5 questions and got back here, it would be like an empty table.
And maybe someone that's lost all their money, so a sad face.
Maybe, exactly. Okay, and so yeah, so we add a 1 to each question we answer, and then on the correct and incorrect layer, I'm going to go to feedback layers, feedback master, and I created a few more variables to determine if you answered correct, the question value, the points should go into your account. And if you're incorrect, they should go to Jake's account. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the correct, I'm on a correct feedback. Okay. So my question value will go to point user. So it would go to your account, and on the incorrect one, as you see, it will go to point Jake.
Cool. That's
simple. And there are for the continue button on both feedback layers. It's the functionality I just explained. So if you answered less than 5 questions, we jump to the pick your card, the base screen, and if it's 5, we jump to summary.
Very cool.
And there is also one more variable to set the question value to 0, because when we go back to the pick your card, it should be 0, because when you select it, it will be defined from new.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah.
Can I ask a question while you were there on the master slides? Do you have any tips to help people decide whether their variables should be, and the triggers, should be set up on a master slide or just a normal slide? Yeah. How do you help decide that?
Well, I think because as you see, for each card value, it's exactly the same functionality. It's just a card question value would be different, etc. So there's no point in duplicating all these informations. You could place them on a correct and incorrect layer, but it would mean if you, for example, you made like a mistake, you would have to fix it in all these scenes. So whichever speeds up your work. So let's say you have, at least 2 scenes like that, which work exactly the same. Try to use Slide Master or Feedback Masters in this case for questions to help you. Maybe in the future you would like to add some extra functionality, then you just do it in one place rather than in on 5 screens, okay? And even in 10 places, because you have correct and incorrect, so it's 2 layers per question. So try to think how Feedback Masters could help you to make this interaction, how to speed up your work, how to reduce time you will spend on this interaction in the future, or maybe if you notice a mistake. So it's like thinking in advance. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I hope it it makes sense. All right, then on the summary screen, there could be 3 outcomes. Either you win, Jake wins, or there is a tie. So depending on if the points user are greater than points Jake, you will see you win, etc., etc. So it's simple maths triggers to show the proper layer. Okay, and if there is you win, we see just the exit button, as there is no point in retaking the exercise. And if Jake wins or there is a tie, you can try again. But it just depends on the project. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. I hope it all made sense. There may be some places in this build, because I built it a few months back. If I was going to sit to this project again and make it more complicated, I may find some places where I could simplify the triggers to make my build easier for someone else, for example, to take over. It's also important to remember to set up your triggers in a clean way to understand to other developers. I think that's it for this project.
And also, like what I noticed, you name your variables very clearly, and I know that's so important as well. Like not only for handing over to someone else, but if you revisit the project in the future, and even when you have multiple variables that you're dealing with, you can forget what they do. So I always think to name your variable, not just like layer 1, layer 2 or whatever, but specific to exactly what that variable does, because then it's almost like this is the action I need to do, and that's the variable called the action.
Exactly. And that's a really good point, and especially when there are a lot of maths in the background, so you need to be really specific what is this variable and what it does. So we just read it and you know already what it means. So number of questions means how many questions you answered. Okay, good. So that's the first example I wanted to show.
Very cool, thank you.
The other one, no problem. The other one is, I call it dial to reveal.
Okay.
So
we're looking at your storyline still.
Again.
It's okay. The big reveal is about to happen though.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I hope you can see it now.
Yeah, cool.
I will refresh it. So that's the dial to reveal. We have like a helping arrow to suggest that we can move these people around the table to find out more about their roles. So this is like an onboarding sort of interaction.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to explore in Storyline is to use really huge dials it's almost like a size of the whole slide.
Yeah.
Because what you usually see in Storyline are rather smaller sliders, and I said, okay, maybe let's have a large table, people around it, and you can just move the table. So yeah, you just move the people around, and once a person is under this pointer, you see there is an ID appearing on the screen. You can click it, yeah, and basically read some information about the person you're watching at. There are also some, there's a nice movement using motion paths to jump between the info about Michael. Yeah, we can close it. And yeah, either you can visit once again, or you keep moving to jump to another person. Yeah, and the functionality is exactly the same, just a different person appearing.
Yep.
As you can see also, we have some extra elements in the background. So yeah, usually in the meeting rooms, there's like a TV or a flower. And there is a dog
cool.
as well. I shared this example on Articulate community, and I got 2 or 3 suggestions. Oh, the dog should have an idea as well. So this would be like an idea to to rebuild in this interaction. In the future. So yeah, until you get to the end, you can dial it as you get to the last.
That's a really nice touch to have the outside of the room moving around as well. I like that. Yes, exactly. And you could add like an extra stuff. For example, in this flower, someone could hide, I don't know, sweets for the long meeting to have something, like a boost of energy. They wouldn't be hidden long with me around. Okay, so there could be also something hidden in a coffee. Yeah, there are a lot of options, like a hidden gems in the build. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how it's been built. Let me just open Storyline. Okay. And share Storyline this time. Okay, can you see? Yes, thank you. Okay, so it's one slide interaction. It's really simple. And well, actually, I should start with design in this case, because I try to show you the whole image. As you see, it's really large. It goes way beyond the Storyline's slide area. And what's really important in this interaction is that this shape has to be square. Yeah, like a perfect square. Right. So I'm going to show you my my Illustrator file to show you how this was set up. Cool. Need to open. And if people had a look at that, if you could see the thumbnail of the slide on the left, you could see that it was actually cut off at half the table. But what we're actually looking is your image going beyond the canvas to make the functionality of this dial work. Exactly. It's clever. Yeah. Push the boundaries of the canvas. Yes. So yeah, what we see in the Storyline is it's just like a half table and just the 3 people in here, because I wanted to have this table really large, almost the height of my slide in Storyline, and as wide as possible, so we have this large area to dial around. Yeah. So in Illustrator, if you see, if I select all these people, it's a perfect square. Yeah. And you see this extra elements. There's this top view for dog and TV. What I did, I didn't include them in this shape, in this group, okay, because they would become rectangle then if I group them together. I just added this dog and TV in the state in Storyline. I will show you later. Oh wow. Okay. And what's also important for this sort of interaction, when you dial a round table, you need to place these people, no matter how many there would be, in the same distance between them,
So later when you insert this image into Storyline, you could get this nice effect, these people to find exactly below the pointer.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you find that out the hard way by having them not positioned perfectly and then you created it? And same for your background pieces?
Yeah, I can show you a nice trick, okay, with placing elements in the same angle, in the same distance. So let's say, I'm gonna draw a table. Okay, let's say this would be our dude. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna group it. All right, so let's say this is our new colleague, and let's say we need to have 6 people sitting around the table.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do, you press R on your keyboard, which is for the rotation tool. Not sure whether you can see it, make it larger. Once I press R, you see there is this small cross.
Yes.
A blue cross. So that's the info from Illustrator that rotation tool is enabled. And we need to change. So if it's positioned here, it means this dude will be rotated around this point.
Right.
This would be like a reference point, but I don't want to, because I want this dude being rotated with the reference point, which is the center of our table. Okay. So what we do is we click R and we try to find the center of a table. And you see when I hover over my mouse,
keeps going missing.
We'll find it.
You're under pressure now, that's why.
Yeah, I think so. All right, okay.
There you go.
So it's there. Okay, so we just click left, and my reference point now is right in the middle of a table. And what you need to do now is to press Alt on your keyboard. Okay, double click. Snap back. I knew it's going to happen to me live.
We'll forgive you. We're patient.
Okay, so now we have the rotation tool. And if we need to place 6 people, the angle between them, because there's 360 degrees divided by 6, you can either type in 60, okay, or you type in, if you're not good at math, Illustrator can do this for you. So we just type in 360 divided by 6, and it will do the math for you. Yeah. And before we click OK, we need to click copy, as you don't want to move this dude, rotate this dude by 60 degrees. You want to create a copy. So we have 6 people. So we click copy, and there is another person there. And what you need to do now is just keep pressing Control-D, which will replay your last action in Illustrator. And now you have perfectly placed 6 people around the table. Okay.
You have saved me many hours in the future of my life.
Perfect, great. Okay, so I learned a lot with this project. So yeah, once we have all these people nicely sitting around the table, now we can insert the image to Storyline. So I will open Storyline now. Okay, good. So.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Good, great. So what's really important is first you need to convert this image to dial.
Okay.
And any image, any image could be converted to dial. You just click Insert Dial. It's disabled now because it is already a dial. Okay. But if there would be a new graphic, this action would be active. And what's important is in the dial tools tab. So our rotation has to be 360, as it is here. I also renamed my variable to table, so it's easier for me to know what the variable is and what it means. My start value is 0 because I don't want to display any information for the person in green once the slide is displayed.
Yeah.
I want to display the info for her once we get to 24. And now, why there is 24 is because I try to explain it clearly. So we have 6 people by the table, and I'd like to sort of show 4 small movements between each people before the next person will appear under the pointer.
Yeah.
I will show you. Well, actually, I mean, I have really often like option to show to put on screen sort of like a helping variable, so I can play and see how it changes. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So it's set to 0 as we wanted. Okay. And before we see this guy under the pointer, it will change to 4. So we'll have like 4 smaller steps. So it's smooth movements.
Yes.
It's not like rough jumping between. I could set it to instead of 24 to 6, but it would be just one like rough rapid movement between the person. And
they
I wanted
basically
to have
just switch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I wanted to have this nice smooth. You could do it even smoother because you can change. If you go back to dial tools, you see there is step value.
Yeah.
It's set to 1, so that's why it changes from 0 to 1 to 3. But I could change it to 0.5, so the movement would be even smoother because there are fewer more steps to make to see the next person. I hope it will be visible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and you can also see that there are like halves of, you see, 3.5,
Yeah.
2.5, because the step is set to 0.5 instead of 1. I will change it back to 1. Okay. And now we need to see the triggers panel because this is where all the magic happens. So there are many variables. So the first point is we need to show this ID card, this one. Okay, whenever a person appears under this pointer, which means it will happen on a condition if my table variable will be either 4, 8, 12, 16, blah, blah. It increases every 4 points. That's why I have it 24 here and 24 for the as my end value for the table. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's the same for the instruction. So there is an instruction in here. And it's in 2 states. The first one, the starting one is to tell the learner to move the people around.
Yeah.
And if any person will, the table variable will change to 4, 8, 12, etc. It will change to click, which means the ID card will appear on screen, and now we can select the ID card. And again, if people start to dial further, it will change again to move people around. So we won't get stuck with the same instruction for duration of the whole interaction.
Yeah.
So once we, is it clear?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah. Okay, great. So once we see the ID card, we see the ID layer. And if the learner clicks on the card, we see more info about every person. And depending whether the table variable is 4, 8, 12, it will show specific person. And on my layer, they are set up exactly the same way. So I'm going to show just on some one example. You see, there is the text flew from left to right really smoothly, depending which dot you clicked. So if you see here,
yeah,
you want to see. Okay, you see, I have two motion paths. One moving the text to the left.
yeah.
Okay, and the other one moving the text to the right. And what's really important in this case is to, in the path options, to select the relative start point. It has to be selected.
Okay.
So the animation will play from the last position it showed. So if we haven't this relative start point selected, if I click left and then again, it would flew out of the screen. I wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I put like a brown rectangle just to see. Actually a little bit to don't show this text. So it's like the most simplest mask ever created. All right. And you just close the layer, and basically you keep interacting with the table. And once you get to see that person being turned around the full spin, the dial won't turn any further, and you would have to dial the other way around to play it. Okay.
Very cool.
So I'm really happy with this interaction. As I try to think the way, okay, what would happen if I could merge the idea of a dial and maybe motion paths? What could I build around it? Yeah. So sometimes I just looking into storylines functionalities, and I said, okay, if I could build something around three things, what would I pick up, and what sort of interaction we could have? And
cool.
Sometimes this dial interaction, it's an outcome of this way of thinking, and I think it's really nice, something.
Yeah, it's really nice. So what you're saying is you create the space to allow yourself to experiment and explore, and then
yes, so
you will then apply it to your projects at work as well.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said at the beginning, so at Wolf we have this time for our internal projects. Well, internal. I call this internal project, but basically it's a time for me to try to get out of the box, work with storyline in really try to, I don't know, maybe I'm going to show you another example, because this one is it's not super simple. Okay, I would have to spend a few hours to make it work, and once this I shared this with my team at Wolf, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna use this functionality in a real life project for a client. So this is also like opportunity for me to learn, for me to explore, for share with the team, and to use it in our project later. So there are only benefits, I think, with this approach. So I'm really happy with with this toolbox.
I agree with that as well. I just want to encourage people, like what you're saying is you have allocated time to learn and experiment, and I've started doing that with my team as well. Once a week, it's an hour, and they just go learn and experiment, and the way it has lifted what we're delivering is brilliant, because they can explore, like you say, what about this part of the program, or what's someone creating in the app world that we can then replicate in Articulate. So I do encourage, both of us are saying experiment. It will totally lift your game. Create the space, prioritize your learning time.
Exactly. That's a great approach. I'm going to show you so far I showed you really complex build, rather complex build, but sometimes as you say, I'm browsing internet, watch different websites, and try to sort of replicate micro interactions in storyline.
Yeah.
So that's why I think I mentioned at the beginning about motion paths. They're really,
Yes.
really powerful in Storyline.
I agree.
So I will show you another example.
Cool. I'm excited.
Okay. Can you see my browser, right?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So so there is let's say it's like a menu. That it could be anything. So instead of the standard approach when you select something and basically nothing usually happens with this button. It may change a color, it can have some text. I said, okay, let's make it more animated. So once you select an item, the selected one previously goes back to the normal state and goes back to its original position. And it's not like a fireworks, okay, exploration, but I think this tiny animation it makes more engaging for the learner. And it's also the approach with how can you do it in Storyline? You try to dig it. You spend some time and nothing happens, and then the next day you have like a spark. Oh yeah, I know how to do it, and you just sit there and it's done within 20 minutes. And so sometimes that simple stuff as this thing is also good to share and to show. We could with really within short period of time we could build our storylines slightly different. There's I think another slide. So instead of displaying all the information, push the information to the learner, we just decide whether we want to visit any file. If we don't want to visit, we can go back to the folder. Okay.
Beautiful. They're so nice.
And so sometimes when you have a lot of content on a slide and we use this page sort of placeholder for info, it's also nice to turn the page instead. Showing the next layer, and there is just like three states in Storyline. So this is the normal. Then in the meantime, it's like this skewed view, and that's the third state. And it looks quite different, but it's basically the same functionality. Whether you would have numbered buttons, and number 1 you see this info, number 2 you would see this info. It just works a different way, and it's I think it's much nicer. So micro interactions, I call it.
They're beautiful. I love them. I think if you can do them in a project, they're just it's gorgeous, because that's what we're so used to seeing in apps and websites, and bringing it into learning. I just think gives a really people are fatigued by e-learning or bad e-learning from the years, and this is our way to, I believe, rebirth it. And it just makes me really exciting. So thank you for showing that. I feel very energized and inspired by it.
So cool. I'm happy. This one actually we use in for our clients. So I share it with a team, and after a few days my colleague said, let's use this for the interaction. It will really fit into the module I'm working on at the moment. And so then you have the more satisfaction. You don't build it for yourself. You build it for the team, for the company. So that's great. I'm just thinking, what else could I show? Well, sometimes it's with e-learning. You work on complex projects. There is a long list of variables, but sometimes you are happy to create something simple like this one. I will share my screen again. It's been built for Articulate Challenge. It was all about animated patterns. And I had this crazy idea on Saturday morning, okay? And I built it within 1 hour or so. It does nothing. It just tracks your mouse movement.
Oh, cute.
It's been done with 9 hotspots, or 10. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's super simple. Okay, it's nothing special. I didn't spend too much time on it. I just wanted to participate in challenges just to show, the guys how funny and simple this could be, because it's really short and simple, and yeah, it just does nothing when you click. Just say the agent button, has no special triggers, so it will disappear after a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have fun and satisfaction from larger projects, but also from simple stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you share it with the community. And that's also another thing I like to mention, that yeah, people share really crazy projects sometimes. You just watch it and say, oh God, how did they do it? And you just sit and think, okay, I'll try to replicate it. Okay, you watch tutorials, you have like this, hit and miss days. Sometimes you won't do nothing. But yeah, once you get there, I say, okay, I learned from that person. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I think it's, we all learn. Okay, I'm not a master of storyline. I probably never would be. But learning, constant learning, having fun, sharing what you learn. It's also important. Okay, I'm not gonna create something just for myself and keep it just for myself. Hide it somewhere, not share, not show. Yeah, just show, share, tell what you learn. Let the others, be inspired. I think that's the power and secret of the learning community.
Yeah, well, I think you've done a fantastic job of that today. So thank you so much. I'm like excited now to go play, because I got a template that I need to build today. I'm like, excellent. What can I like feel like an artist, basically. And so I feel inspired. So thank you for sharing that and breaking it down as well, because sometimes it's hard. I guess if you think about the things that you were working on that you showed us at the beginning, it's hard to figure out where those variables, and we get stuck and we can spend a lot of time reworking them and trial and error and keep hitting that preview button, and you get closer and closer to your goal. Thank you for your generous sharing.
No problem.
Where do you watch your tutorials? Any YouTube channels that you recommend, or where we could learn? Where do you learn so we can learn there too? Apart from experimentation, because it sounds like that's a huge way that you learn.
Yeah, so Articulate community, it's been 4 years my place to go. I started to share my stuff in 2014 when the challenges just began. There were, I think, like 20. I started to, it's before you do the first step, is maybe I'm not good enough to share it, but then yeah, you just try, you just put stuff in there, and the community is so supportive. Always someone gives you some tips, or if you ask for help, they just don't ignore you. So for my career, for my progress, for your courage to be more creative, and being open to sort of like critique if it could happen. Articulate community is definitely the place to go, especially if you are at the beginning of your e-learning journey. And I also watch a few guys on YouTube, like Dave Charney, I think. eLearning Locker is the name of a channel. And there is also Nate. I don't remember the name of a channel. I think it's Master Storyline Master, something like that.
Okay.
They really good with this technical stuff. Sometimes they share super crazy builds, and so yeah, they've been inspiration for me as well. That's and cool. I do follow a few blogs as well, and but most of the time I spend at work.
Experimenting. Brilliant. Well, we'll try to find the links to those, and they'll be in the description of the video, so you can learn like Joanna does. But number one takeaway is definitely experiment. That's what I'm getting from you, 100%. Do you have the paper one, the dev file handy, that you could show us how the motion parts of work? Or
yeah, sure. Just let me find Storyline.
Soon we'll have crazy things flying across all the screen because people get so inspired that they want everything to move on screen. Hold back, people. Just use it sparingly and where it adds value. Don't make your learners dizzy.
Okay, I got my storyline for this micro interaction. Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, so we have these three icons, the house, the rocket, and the bulb. I will hide it to show you that this circle, which indicates which icon is selected, if you see, it has applied 4 motion paths. Okay. Why 4? Because depending whether we want to, you need to sort of like anticipate all the position this circle can be at. Okay. So if it's at the beginning, it has to have this really long one to get to the light bulb and also to the rocket. If it's in the middle, it has to have the shorter one to the right and the shorter one to the left to go back here, and also the longest one to the left if it's far right.
Yeah.
And again, important thing, keep in mind to have this relative start point selected. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay. Then I have few variables with really fancy names: rocket, bulb, and home. And maybe I will point it out. It's better visible. And there is some mechanism in the background. First, determine where the circle is at the moment. Okay, at which position. So we have like home, rocket, and bulb being 0 or 1, depending on what you select. So then they trigger the movement of a circle on a motion path, and also movement of these small icons going up or down, depending whether they intersect with a circle.
Yeah.
Okay. What I also noticed, sometimes when you click too quickly, it could break. So I was quite cheeky and I created this cover layer. And so we won't be able to click. You see, it's really short. It lasts the movement, the longest movement from the circle to get to the selected icon. So once it's moving, you won't be able to click anything, as we have this cover layer, and it's been hidden when it finishes, and then it's okay to click again on any icon. So I broke this in. If you could see my original file, it's not the one. I think there were like 4 or 5 different slides when I started from scratch, because then I tried something, it didn't work. Yeah. I will create another screen like this, delete all the triggers. So I duplicate slide, delete all the triggers, and try again from scratch, or use what worked on the initial version, and try as long as it's going to work. Okay, good. And the other one with this folder, it's again using motion paths. So this fancy shape, there are 2 files, as you saw in when I played. They've been hidden now behind this yellow part. So either they can fly to the top when we first click. Once you click the second time, it will use the other motion path. Again, relative start point is important thing to remember. And what's also important in this case is, not sure whether you ever used this toggle variable.
No, I haven't, I don't think.
Okay, so whenever you click this hotspot, it toggles folder variable. Okay, and folder is true or false.
Yeah.
False as initial state. So this animation starts to play. The variable is false. You click on a folder, it changes to true. You click on a folder, it changes to false. So that's how the toggle works. And I grab the true or false, either to show the animation flying out or to fly down to hide to the folder back. Okay.
That's cool.
So that's really super helpful variable. I don't use it too often. It just depends on the project. But yeah, in this case, even for such a simple animation, it was super helpful.
Yeah, it's kind of like an on-off button, I guess. That's how I think about it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and then in this document, as you could see with this, corner animation. Well, actually, I didn't put it to state. Yeah, I just put this images, show them for a really short period of time, as you can see on my timeline. So first, maybe if I hide it, it will be better to see. Yeah,
this is amazing.
So we see it like for the initial start, then we see it like 0.2 of a second, then another one and another one, and you have this feeling of the card flicking. Okay, it probably won't work for every project, but it did for my demo, and it's as I said, it's quite different as you would normally build it with, I don't know, maybe tabs interaction or numbered buttons. As I said, it would display exactly the same info but showed in a different way. Okay. Good.
Amazing.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well,
okay.
I think people at home definitely follow Joanna on LinkedIn. Is there another place that you share your work? So you share it on the Articulate community as well. Do you have a blog or anything like that they can go?
Yes,
your fan people.
I have well, obviously you can see portfolio from Wolf. It's the job I've done for Wolf as well. But I also run my personal website.
Yeah.
It's called eLearningdesigner.co.uk. Gonna show my screen.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, and
nice.
I have a portfolio piece. With the examples I just show you.
Amazing.
And there are also some freebies and blog section. Whenever I have time, I try to write a few stuff about what I do and how it works. So you can visit me there.
Yes, thank you. Definitely, people go check her out and reverse engineer the great interactions that you have shared today and the others. Thank you so much for your generous sharing. It was really, you simplified it, like you're calling them complex, but when you talk through it, I feel like they're achievable. It's just stepping it out and mapping it out and trial and error. So thank you so much for making it so clear to understand those advanced things. Appreciate you being on the Belvista Studios Show. And for the people at home, please reach out to Joanna and give your thanks to her, learn from her more, and please do share this video with anyone you believe that it's going to add value to, so that everyone else can create awesome interactions just like Joanna does.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Thanks so much for the invitation. I was super happy to share the stuff with you. And it was good to be here.